with promotional slogans usually used for hype and marketing. Icon versus Icon could not have been more accurate, as The Rock and Hulk Hogan in a match that was built as the winner goes down as the greatest ever, put on arguably the greatest match in industry history, taking 68,000 people at the Toronto Sky Dome on a ride never before seen. With the crowd reactions during the build-up to the match indicating a split crowd but generally more pro-Rock. The history of Hulk Hogan in Toronto going back over 15 years, along with the nostalgic factor of seeing Hogan back at WrestleMania for the first time in almost a decade, could see a unique reaction on the show. Vince McMahon, seeing what's happening in town, sent Hogan back home to Tampa, Florida in the company's private jet on the day before the event to pick up his red and yellow attire, changing the plan to a Hogan babyface turn, teaming with Rock against Hall and Nash in the post-match segment last night. Hogan opened draw to one of the greatest ovations seen in any genre, with the Montreal crowd, a lot of them in either classic Hulkamania or nWo shirts, giving Hogan an all-time memorable reaction for several minutes to open the broadcast. Hogan talked about the match and the crowd reaction last night, saying that someday Hogan and Rock will meet again in a rematch. That brought out Rock to the ring. Knowing the environment, Rock subtly played the crowd with the idea of a turn, before turning the mixed reaction into a full pro crowd in a few minutes. Rock thanked Hogan and agreed for a rematch, saying that he's no longer in the nWo, leading to Hogan ripping off the shirt to officially end his run with the group. Hall and Nash, who until a day before WrestleMania were supposed to be toasting on the show with Hall going over, came out for a promo exchange with Nash and Hall calling Hogan a traitor. During one exchange, Rock mocked Nash's Big Daddy Cool character, which allegedly caused some issues. Hall and Nash challenged them to a match. Hogan and Rock accepted, setting up a huge tag match for the main event, ending an all-time great segment going over 25 minutes to a standing ovation from the crowd. The segment, which went over 2 quarters to start the show, gained big to a 5.5 rating, the highest rated quarter in 7 months. A special announcement from Linda McMahon was hyped throughout the first hour, ending up in a segment from the company headquarters officially announcing the brand extension, with the first ever draft set for next Monday, scheduled to be one of the biggest Raw shows of all time, with Flair heading Raw and Vince heading SmackDown. Seconds later, Vince was walking to the ring, with JR and King hyping it before a commercial break as Vince's return to Montreal. In the weeks prior to WrestleMania, Vince tried to bring Bret Hart back for a surprise appearance on the show, which he declined, assuming in a segment with him on the pay-per-view, which would have got an astronomical reaction in front of that audience either in Toronto last night or Montreal for Raw. Vince said that they are gonna miss him on Raw now that he's going to exclusively head SmackDown, leading to the crowd loudly singing the goodbye song for several minutes. Flair came out as the crowd continued, now also starting the "expected you screwed Bret" chants, which Flair stopped mid-promo to acknowledge, leading to McMahon subtly signaling to Flair to continue the promo over the chant, as he clearly didn't want to mention it on air, with referee Earl Hebner off the show as well for the same reason. Ending the segment with Vince punching Flair and him reversing it to a figure 4. Moments later during the break, Vince took the microphone and responded to the Bret chant in character, saying that he will do it again. The company sent out a press release the day after the show with WrestleMania 18 breaking records as the highest-grossing event in history, breaking the gate record set last year, in addition to over 35,000 people attending the Access event. A major story behind the scenes was Steve Austin walking out after WrestleMania, not appearing on Raw and SmackDown a day later on March 19. Austin, who didn't like his positioning in recent months with the focus on Rock and Hogan as headliners, among other creative and personal issues, flew home after the show with his status for the big draft show still unknown. The plan for months since the idea of the brand split started was to have Rock and Austin each leading a brand on Raw and SmackDown. Triple H came out as the new champ, saying that this is what he worked through for all the months out with injury. Stephanie came out wanting a rematch for Jericho, who only appeared on the show in a backstage segment, arriving at the building before leaving back. Triple H agreed, setting up a handicap match against both next Monday, and if Stephanie loses she leaves the company. Rock and Hogan vs. The Outsiders, built as Hogan and Rock teaming for the first time ever in one of the biggest matches in show history against Hall and Nash, drew a 5.8 rating, making it the highest rated segment since August 2001. The show also showed a huge viewership increase in Canada's TSN of almost 50% on the average for the year, with Raw overall drawing a 5.3 rating, also the highest rating since August. The match went 6 minutes, ending with Rock and Hogan going over via countout, saving a clear finish for a future match between them.